life of a chicken is probably so simple, but the life of a human is much more complicated. Have you ever noticed just how difficult it is to be good? Sometimes it's so difficult to be good. There's so many reasons to be bad. There's so many incentives to do bad things. Whether you think that power or money or fame is important or not, money, power, and fame, advancement or an unfair advantage sometimes just is so tempting. There's a word in Arabic for that struggle to be good and do good, and that word is jihad. The human struggle to promote what is good and to prevent what is bad. That is the whole idea of jihad. Now, there's two different ways to think about jihad, because there's two different types of jihad. There is jihad, which is spiritual, personal, inwardly, about you and yourself. Like when you have incentive to be bad, but you know that that's not right, so you have to convince yourself and fight yourself not to do the advantageous thing, which is immoral. There is also jihad, which is external and social and political. And that's when, for example, other people are trying to make you bad and influence you, and you have to fight them so that they don't do that. There's also when communities are doing bad things, and you have to fight to keep them from doing those bad things. So there's a mix here, but there's two different concepts of jihad. One is inwardly, as an individual, your struggle as a Muslim. And then there is the outwardly struggle. There's another way to understand jihad. But to understand that, let's look first more deeply at the religion, monotheistic Islam. Islam means submission to God's will. A Muslim is a person who submits to God's will. So a Muslim is a follower of Islam. You may say there are dues for every Muslim. Every Muslim must adhere to the 5 pillars. For example, you must give some of your earnings to charity, especially to orphans and widowed women. There's also Muslim don'ts, like do not engage in war or fighting or conflict. No taking up arms. There's a little footnote we can explain. The Quran says that it is forbidden for Muslims to wage war, to engage in conflict, to fight, unless, well, you are permitted to fight when you are defending yourself. And this could be like the spiritual self, because that's really what matters. You could fight to defend being a Muslim or Islam more generally. So here's the two ways that we can understand jihad. One is as a defensive tactic. You could promote righteousness and prevent immorality as a defensive tactic, or as an offensive tactic. If there is a community, a nation, a city, a group of people, other people, any person, etc., that is doing immoral things, then on one interpretation of jihad, then you are able to take up arms and fight in order to prevent immorality.